Good morning. I'm Greg Gorgas, CEO at Artelo Biosciences. It's great to be back here at the LSX here in London. I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about the progress that we've made in this last year since I spoke at the conference in 2018. And most notably, we are traded now on the NASDAQ under the symbol ARTL. I will be making some forward-looking statements. Actual results may vary in the future, and we would invite you to look at all of our filings, which are posted and available on our website, which is current on our filings. Artelo Biosciences is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, and we're entirely focused in on drugs that target the endocannabinoid system. You may not know, but you were born with and you walked into this room with an endocannabinoid system, a system of neurotransmitters and receptors that is found throughout the body that can have effect when modulated in many, many different diseases. That was seminal and profound in my joining the company, and so much so that I put it on the opening slide, a quote from the NIH that says that modulating the endocannabinoid system holds therapeutic promise in a wide range of diseases. And yet we don't have a drug currently on the market based upon targeting the endocannabinoid system, modulating all of these diseases, indicating to me that has been in drug development and commercialization for over 30 years that there may be a treasure trove of opportunity in targeting this endocannabinoid system. We have 3 assets in development. The first, our lead clinical program, that we obtained, originally developed by AstraZeneca, is a program that is a high-potency CB1, CB2 agonist targeted for anorexia associated with cancer. And soon, very soon, we anticipate starting a phase 1b/2a trial here in the UK, entirely in the UK, for subjects or patients suffering with anorexia associated with cancer. The second program is our version of CBD, which we believe has better pharmaceutics, and we anticipate receiving composition of matter patent protection within the next few months. And last but not least is an inhibitor to fatty acid binding protein 5, and we'll share with you and unpack that information for you in just a few moments. All of our compounds have a rich patent story around them. For the first and third program on the slide, those programs that came into the company from our licensing efforts, there's issued patents as well as patent pending. And for the middle compound, our version of CBD, the co-crystal of CBD, we're expecting composition of matter patent protection before April next year. I might just also add that the first and third compounds on the slide came in through our licensing efforts, and we do have fully paid for worldwide licenses on those compounds, and the middle asset is our own invention, and obviously we own the IP around that. So for the first and lead clinical program, 6 out of every 10 late-stage cancer sufferers have profound anorexia that contributes to their wasting or demise. Many folks are using off-the-shelf and off-label approaches such as corticosteroids or prednisone and other anabolic stimulating agents to try and keep the weight on folks so that they can participate not only in their anti-cancer therapy, but they're able to participate in the activities with their friends and family as they go through the cancer journey. And unfortunately, to date, the FDA nor the MHRA has yet approved a drug to treat cancer anorexia, so it remains a high unmet need. Now, cannabis users we owe them a debt of gratitude because they've all taught us something that is intuitive to everybody in the room, and that there is a nice signaling mechanism between the gut region and the brain. And in triggering the CB1 and CB2 receptors of this endocannabinoid system does cause a stimulation in appetite. We believe that we are capitalizing on this known mechanism of action with our high-potency CB1, CB2 agonist that we obtained from AstraZeneca. The beauty of this drug, though, unlike cannabis, is this does not does not target the brain. It does not target the receptors in the brain. So you get the medicinal benefit below the neck and not the psychoactivity above the neck. So it gives one the appetite without the high that's associated with it. We believe that's positioned and its profile is appropriate for the cancer subjects. At the dose that we're intending to bring forward, it seems to have a very attractive adverse event profile as well. What was really instructive to us as we licensed this compound in and thought about it was this data here from a multiple ascending dose study, where I'll just take you right to the bottom line, and that is in the footnote below, you can see a p-value of 0.0001 on an observed effect of weight gain and appetite stimulation that occurred at every single dose in this multiple ascending dose study as compared to the placebo subjects. So you can see a high separation in the curve between the two, and we believe that this is instructive for us as we move into the cancer subjects. Our conviction then is to invest approximately $3 million in conducting a phase 1b/2a here in the UK at approximately 6 clinical sites. Our first data readout on this we expect in the second half of next year, and we're excited about getting this started. There will be up to 49 subjects in the combined phase 1, phase 2, and the duration of the trial in total will be approximately 12 months. Our second program is our version of CBD. We retain all the pharmacology of CBD, and that's important because that's a known anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety compound or molecule. It has also received, it's the sole active ingredient in an FDA-approved product called Epidiolex. But CBD suffers from a drug developer's challenge in two ways. One, the lack of IP around it, and two, it's associated with solid polymorphism. Fix the polymorphism by co-crystallization, and you fix the IP challenge as well. And that's exactly what Artelo scientists, in working with Albany Molecular Research, have done. We've made a co-crystal of CBD, and a co-crystal of CBD is nothing but taking CBD and putting a straitjacket or a co-former with it that holds it and conforms it into a certain shape, effectively turning it into a single polymorph. Now, co-crystals are not new to pharma, and Entresto is a co-crystal, Lexapro is a co-crystal. Many blockbuster drugs have been co-crystals, and this is Artelo's approach to that. Where will this lead? In my opinion, this leads to opening or unlocking the door that's been closed to large pharmaceutical companies supporting. And if, in fact, we can partner this program with a large global pharma that can help make it all that it can be, that would be fantastic. But in our hands right now, we're advancing it through the non-clinical stages to get it ready for the clinic. We know what its features are in our hands and what the potential at that is, and having a patent-protected, better pharmaceutics or consistency of delivery compound to bring into areas where CBD may be useful. And the two areas that we would go and seek to put this in the clinic in clinical research is people suffering from symptoms of PTSD, like insomnia or sleeplessness and anxiety, and taking advantage of its known anti-anxiety properties of CBD, as well as in inflammatory bowel disease, taking advantage of CBD's known anti-inflammatory properties. Last but not least is our program for breast and prostate cancer. Now, inside the cell, there is a chaperone called fatty acid binding protein 5. This chaperone not only chaperones endocannabinoids, which is how we heard about and learned about the program, but it also facilitates lipid signaling of fatty acids, long-chain fatty acids, through the chaperone to the nuclear receptor PPAR gamma, which stimulates vascular endothelial growth factor, or the growth, or a gene for the growth and migration of cancer. This signaling is upregulated in a number of cancers, breast, prostate, and cervical cancer specifically. And if you genetically silence this, you can see in chart A a nice anti-proliferative activity of silencing fatty acid binding protein 5. In chart B, you can see in high-grade tumors higher expression of fatty acid binding protein 5. In triple-negative breast cancer, in chart C, you can see that that's associated with a much more significant or an upregulation of fatty acid binding protein 5. Not surprising, the Kaplan-Meier curve in chart D shows worsening of survival in the presence of elevated fatty acid binding protein 5. The real question then is, can you take an inhibitor to fatty acid binding protein 5 upregulated in these cancers and in fact have a nice anti-cancer activity? The University of Liverpool took, at the time, Stony Brook University's drug and did put it in a model of highly metastatic, castration-resistant prostate cancer, and did in fact recapitulate the data that was seen in the knockout mice on the previous slide. And so you can see here in dosing just in 30 days, the reduction in tumor size as compared to the control mice. The control mice are shown on the upper left-hand corner of the slide, and those treated are represented in the bottom right below that image. And so you can see profound activity of this inhibitor just in 30 days. In my knowledge, that's better than anything Avastin had shown at this stage of development. And so we're very excited about that. In fact, so much that we put out a press release yesterday on exciting data in combination with the standard of care, or taxanes, showing synergy between fatty acid binding protein 5 inhibition and the standard of care in prostate cancer. And I'd invite you all, we put that publication up on our website, I'd invite you to all take a look at that. A little bit about the company. I'm representing a team up here, a team of pharmaceutical executives that have been there and done that. They know what finished and good looks like. They have all the diverse skills requisite to support a company such as ourselves. Dr. Stephen Reich worked in not only the pharmaceutical industry at companies like Pfizer and Ligand and Biogen, but also was one of the founders and principals at a global CRO, Parexel, and has worked in academia before that. And he leads the efforts around that the anorexia trial that we are about ready to commence. And then some of the notable researchers that we work with, Professor Saoirse O'Sullivan from the University of Nottingham, a cannabinoid center of excellence and truly a leader in the space. Dr. Andy Yates received his PhD in cannabinoid research at the University of Nottingham. He's a UK pharmacist and working with our team out of the BioHub Alderley Park facility that used to be one of the headquarters of AstraZeneca. And then Dr. Steve Laviolette, a premier neuroscientist up in Canada, who's working in models of opioid addiction, abuse, and withdrawal, working with a number of our compounds, including a fatty acid binding protein 5 inhibitor that he's getting some very interesting results. We have a market cap of about $7 million. I know that seems a little bit low for the impressive information that I've shared with you, but baby biotech or sub-$100 million biotech overall for the year is down 30 to 40%. And so there may be some macro factors associated with our market cap. Our shares outstanding are about 3.5 million. We have warrants out there from both the public and private offerings. On the public warrants, those are tradable under the symbol ARTLW on the NASDAQ. We've had a number of accomplishments this past year, but our best accomplishments, I believe, are in front of us, and that is the manufacturing and initiation of manufacturing a product and initiating the anorexia study with Artelo 2713, initiating the IND type or regulatory enabling studies for our 2 earlier stage programs. We do expect, as I said earlier, composition of matter protection within the next 6 months on the co-crystal of CBD. And finally, the first initial clinical readout from our 2713 trial in the second half of next year. With that, I just want to summarize by saying we're a company with a product portfolio of 3 very compelling assets, all covered by a nice rich patent estate, near-term milestones for investors to be excited about our near-term future. We are distinguished from all other cannabinoid research companies going after multi-billion-dollar markets, and that's because of our patent estate. And last but not least, a team that has been there, knows what finished and goods looks like, and we have the resolve to move this company forward. With that, I'll invite any questions, and thank you very much.